Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Go Deeper meditation workshop. Great to see everyone here. I just want to check real quick and see some of the names of our friends who've joined us today. I see a lot of our good friends here. So we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I'll introduce myself in case you all aren't familiar with me. My name is Brad Underwood, and I'm one of the volunteer instructors who lead these Sahaja yoga meditation classes. I usually lead the class on Wednesday, so many of you may have joined and we all know each other well. But what we've decided to do tonight is have a little bit of a more in-depth presentation about some ways that we can learn to, become more deeper in our meditation, how to experience vibrations, perhaps things we can do to make the experience of our vibrations stronger if we're maybe not feeling them as well as we'd like, things we can do to help to clear out our subtle system. So we'll get into all of those details. But as we're getting started here, I just thought maybe it'd be nice if everyone could just in chat, just introduce yourself, just in the chat, your name, maybe the city that you're from, and how long you've been meditating. So we can all just kind of feel free to do that as we kind of continue through our introduction here. So what we're going to be discussing today, again, in general, is increasing what we call vibratory awareness, or the vibrations that we feel through our meditation. We'll explain a little bit about what vibrations are, how to define that. Techniques for improving our vibrations. Maybe we're having a challenge slowing down our mind, some things that we can do to help with that issue. Some day-to-day tips for keeping clear, our system clear, and to grow in our meditation. And then we'll end with a meditation by our good friend Anupam. So many of you know him as well. So he'll be joining us at the end of this session and leading us through a meditation. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly are vibrations. We talk about, in our meditations every week, we ask, is anybody feeling anything in their hands? Coolness, warmth, tingling sensations. Some of you have experienced this, and maybe a few of you have not yet. Again, let's kind of take a general overarching or large view of what vibrations are, how we can define them. So vibrations in a general sense are the power of the divine or of God that permeates everything, that makes the seasons change, the flowers grow, everything around us. We can call these vibrations, and they're there and they've always existed. But one of the amazing things about our meditation and our self-realization through Sahaja Yoga is that we can start to experience those vibrations, reach something we had never experienced before. We begin to actually feel them. And so that's why we ask weekly or so, how's everybody feeling? Are you feeling anything in your hands? It isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all that we feel vibrations. I'd say most importantly, we just want to feel peaceful, relaxed. We're feeling a benefit for our meditation. That is what's important, that we're growing, that we're improving our lives through our meditation. But the vibrations are a part of it, and we should in time begin to feel the vibrations. Now, I mentioned vibrations are all around us. So nature emits vibrations. Even some people can emit vibrations. So great people, divine people, realized souls emit vibrations. Beautiful art, literature, things that reflect the divine, those things can also emit vibrations, something like a beautiful piece of art. So we can experience vibrations in many ways on many different levels. And in addition to these positive vibrations, there's always a yin and a yang. Negative things can also emit a negative vibration. And we might even feel these things before we get our self-realization, in a sense. So you can go someplace like the Grand Canyon and just feel that there's something special about that place. That place emits vibrations. There's something very divine and beautiful about the Grand Canyon and many other places around the world. So even before our realization, we can feel there's something there. And many people feel that on a subtle level. And the same thing, maybe we've gone someplace or met somebody that we get kind of a bad vibe from, we'll say. So we kind of understand this already, but again, our self-realization takes it to a new level, a deeper level. And not only do we feel these vibrations, but they can help us in our life, help guide us, help us understand ourselves better. We talk about the saying that we should know ourselves, know thyself. So this is how we know ourselves. We begin to feel the vibrations on our fingertips, on our hands, what's going on inside, what our strengths and challenges are. And what we'll learn today over this next hour or so are things that we can do, little techniques and little additional things we can add into our daily routine to help us become more sensitive to those vibrations. Now, some of this, for many of you, some of it will be a review. We've discussed a lot of these things before, and maybe we'll go into a little bit deeper on some of these different techniques, but some of it may be brand new. So just enjoy, sit back. Don't worry about taking notes or anything. We'll talk about at the end of the session a way that we can share this presentation with you so you can read it on your own time. Also, if you have any questions, as we're going through this, you can just you're welcome to enter it into the chat. We'll pause periodically and see if we can get to some of those questions. We may not get to all of them today, but if you do have something you have a question about, please feel free to do that. All right. So I think what we should do before we get into all of this, let's just take a very short minute and just relax and meditate real quick. So why don't we start by raising our Kundalini? So we should all be familiar with raising our energy. We'll just raise our energy, raise our Kundalini together. Do that 3 times. Wherever you're sitting, however you're comfortable, we just want to relax. So you raise our energy. And we put on the bandha. And we open up our palms on our lap. And we just relax. Just let everything go. Let the day go. Eyes closed gently. Let's put our right hand in the center of our chest. Left hand stays open. And we'll just take a few deep breaths just to relax, A few deep breaths. We can keep our attention on our center heart. Take our attention inside. We can put our right hand back on our lap when we're finished. Again, both palms open. Let's just put our right hand across our forehead and just let everything go. Let our day go. Let the emails go. Our work. I forgive everyone and myself. Just let everything go. Mother Energy, please soothe my mind. Please quiet my mind. Help me to be in thoughtless awareness. And then we'll massage our scalp, put our attention at the top of our head, press our palm down, massage our scalp, put all of our attention here. Mother Energy, please bring my attention to the top of my head. Please bring my attention to my sahasrara. We can put our right hand back on our lap. Just another moment, relaxed. We can take our palms to our chest and just let our attention be on our hands. And we can ask in our heart, please may I feel my own vibrations. Please may I feel the vibrations. And we just observe our hands. We can put our hands back on our lap. We can open our eyes and let's continue our work. So our slide here, it's been said that a time will come when people's hands will speak, and that is exactly what's happening. So congratulations, your hands are speaking. And I'm using
I think we lost breath for a moment there. Just be patient. Be back. Okay, looks like Brad is having some problem. Um, until he joins, let's continue with our presentation. So I think he already spoke about what are vibrations. And so let's get into the actual issues what we face during the meditation. So the first thing which we always feel, the question which is like most prominent, which we find that we are not feeling vibrations. So what is that thing which makes us feel the vibrations, or what is the absence of, or in the absence of certain things, we don't feel vibrations? So the most important part of feeling vibrations is once you get your realization and even one strand of your energy rises to the top, to your sahasrara. So one strand of the Kundalini energy reaches there, you start to feel certain vibrations. And that happens with everybody whose Kundalini rises. If we are not feeling something, there could be several causes, but the most important thing is that is just the first step we have taken. So it's not that, we have some problem or we are bad or something, none of that thing. It's just that it's a very small seed. It will take time to sprout and then grow into a tree. So what we have to do is to nourish ourselves, and how to nourish that, these are the techniques we'll be talking about. So the first thing, I guess all of us know foot soaking and how foot soaking helps with uh, growing this thing. So the first and most important part of this whole subtle system is the chakra, which is Muladhara, the first chakra, and which is below the mother energy, which is below the Kundalini energy. So that, unless it is clean, it's pure, unless that is helping the Kundalini to rise, we don't have that feeling. So the first step is to clean that chakra. And foot soaking helps with that a lot. That's why Shimataji has said that if you can call it a ritual, that's the only ritual I recommend. That's what she has said several times, and that's what we have to understand, that it is not optional. It is something, if we don't do, we gradually start to lose our sensitivity. Because every day we live in the world, we go around and we catch a lot of things. So we have to make sure that we, just like we do everything else, take a bath, brush our teeth, clean ourselves, in the same manner, we have to clean our subtle system as well. So foot soaking is important. Now, there are several other things to feel the vibrations. Some of them is sitting on Mother Earth, sometimes using harsh chemicals, soaps, doing hard work with your hands can also reduce the sensitivity of your hands. So using a little moisturizer, or better, just the natural oils, rubbing in your hands, that will help. You can also use a little bit of what we call clarified butter for your Vishuddhi, because Vishuddhi is the chakra, the fifth chakra, which controls the feeling on our hands, the sensitivity of our hands. So sometimes using a little maybe butter on a warm water or things like that, which kind of uh, help this chakra, using that will help. And gradually, as we meditate, that also increases this flow of vibrations which we feel, because more and more strands of our mother energy rise and reach to our sahasrara. So let's just listen to this talk by Shmataji, few minutes about the same subject. Gunjan, can you please play that?
prepare yourself for that awakening by not preparing yourself. Be unprepared. Be simple. Just be simple. Be childlike. Just that. Which is such a difficult thing, to be simple. No elaborations are needed. Nothing is needed for that. No preparations as such, except open your heart. Now how will you open like that? Pay attention to your heart. Just pay attention to your heart. You'll be amazed if you start melting. Just melt your heart. The thawing starts as soon as you pay attention. Tensions will drop off. And you will feel full breeze. So those who saw yogis, who come to Sahaja Yoga, I didn't feel vibrations, should know that the fear that they have. Everybody thinks that there's a show on, like a dog show, like other shows you see. And they come with that idea. There's no show on. It's a thing that you have to achieve yourself, which you achieve that state automatically. Now this is about the Sahaja yogis who feel that they do not feel any vibrations. Maybe sometimes it happens also in some places where the Vishuddhi Chakra is very bad, you don't feel any full peace. So it doesn't matter. As long as you feel peaceful, enjoy them. Why worry about the vibrations? I don't understand. What's the need? If it is not there, well and good. As long as you feel the peace of your spirit, you just put your hands to another person. Especially if you have been to some other gurus and some other meditation centers and all that, where you have been jumping morning till evening, you see. You don't want to believe that Sahaja Yoga you get only by sitting quietly. Now there are ways and methods for improving your vibration. As you know, in Sahaja Yoga they are all described. For people who suffer from ego, I think best thing is to put your hands into the eyes, right hand. Maybe. It may work. Try it. But don't prepare. Just push your hand into eyes sometimes. It may work. And for people who suffer from superego, little bit burning your hand on the candle may help. Just try. Because the hands are not sensitive. So there is a heat or a cold too much. Either you are a frozen personality or you are a heated personality. You are not in the center. So if you are a frozen personality, better melt it a little bit. Try. I never said this before because half of you would have run away if I had said this. But don't burn it to have blisters, I am saying. Just a little bit, try to see that if you burn your finger, the sensitivity will increase. But someone is thinking just now that if you have both the problems, what do you do? There are permutations and combinations. Because if you get out of your ego, you have a big superego that comes up. And if you get after your superego, the ego comes. Then the attention has to be brought here. And Sahaja Yogis know what it is here to pick attention here. If you can keep your attention here, then you are above this. And if something drops out, it drops out forever because you are standing here. Say if I have a shawl and somehow I can jump onto that gallery and this shawl falls off, then I never have it, isn't it? Because I am there and the shawl is down. So the ascent must take place. If you do not ascend, how do you ascend? Is through your attention. Where is your attention? Ask yourself, where is my attention?
Everybody, my apologies. Thank you, Anupam, for taking over. So let's continue now, going into some of the details that we discussed earlier. Some of the elements that we can use, some of the different techniques we can use to, again, to help clear out our subtle system so we are more sensitive to vibrations, which ultimately will lead to better meditations, which is really the most important thing. And I think of the talk we just listened to with Shimataji, one of the things that I took away from that is not to feel less than because we're not feeling vibrations or afraid somehow that maybe because we don't feel them yet, we're never going to feel them. That kind of thinking doesn't help. Just relax and enjoy the experience. So let's talk about elements and specifically the water element. And you'll all know this next slide very well. Foot soaking. I'm sure you're all doing your daily foot soak. This is the best way to clear out your chakras, to help remove whatever's bothering us, and to improve our vibrations, especially, again, the lower chakras. So, again, I know you're all doing this, but I just want to, again, remind everyone how important this technique is. It might help if you find it a little bit challenging to find the time to do this, to kind of keep everything together, your entire foot soak kit, you can call it. Keep it someplace in your bathroom or wherever is convenient. Everything's there, paper towels, a box of salt, a little cup to rinse your feet. That might help. That might help you. So we'll go on and continue to look at the ways we can use the water element. So this might be something new for some of us, to drink vibrated water. So I mentioned earlier that the vibrations are around us, they also flow through us, and they can flow through our hands. So we can use these vibrations to vibrate water and other things, again, to help us and to help our subtle system to clear. And so one way that we can vibrate water is by simply putting our hands towards the water. We want to raise our energy first, put on the bandhan, put our hands towards the water, and let the vibrations go into the water for just a short amount of time, not a long time. You can also move your hand over the top of a cup of water 7 times or so, and just let the vibrations go into the water. Another way to vibrate water, or any of these different elements that we'll talk about, is we can place them in front of Shimataji's photograph. So maybe some of you are meditating at home with a small altar and a photograph of Shimataji, and we'll get into that a little bit later in our presentation as well too. That's something that really can help us in our meditations. But Shimadaji's photograph itself, because she was a realized soul, emits vibrations. So just placing something for some short amount of time in front of the photograph can also vibrate it. And as we see in the next slide, we can add to our vibrated water some vibrated salt. So just a pinch of salt into like a half cup or quarter cup of vibrated water, a little bit of salt that you've also perhaps placed in front of the photograph for, overnight. That combination of the water and the salt can really help us in our third chakra, the Nabi chakra, and the void, so all around our stomach area. Those two elements together can help to clear out if we're feeling anything. And by the way, we don't just, do these things in a mechanical way. We do them because, if we're feeling that in our hands, for example, that can help us to decide which of these different techniques we can try. So again, our Nabi is our middle finger. So if you're feeling tingling in your middle finger, left or right or both, or maybe the void, which is around our hand, and maybe I'll go ahead and, then that could be a way of letting us know that we can try that technique. So this is a lovely quote here and an image that we can read about using these two elements and our Nabi. We can use salt water for clearing the lower chakras. And then as we move on, so, all right. I can go back and read that quote if it was a little bit difficult for people to see. I'm happy to do that. So this is a quote of Shimadaji from 1977. As you have seen, that water element is very good for treating people for the lower chakras up to the heart chakra, because the water and salt can help you for the Nabi chakra. And because the salt is the earth element, and what you call it is the essence of the ocean. And the essence of the ocean is in the Bhavasagara. So we can use salt water for clearing the lower chakras. Our void is sometimes referred to as the ocean of illusion. So that combination again of the water and the salt can really help clear out our void and our Nadi. So the Mother Earth, we've talked about this often in our classes, how important and helpful it is to just take some time and sit on the ground. We can sit on the grass, raise our energy, and just put our attention on our sitting bone, the first chakra. That helps so much. It's such a natural way of clearing out the first chakra. It is made of the earth element, and it is our foundation chakra. So as often as you can, to just sit in nature and let nature do the work of helping to clear out these different centers inside of us. Just letting yourself be barefoot in the grass, like a kid, and enjoying the nature, looking up at the sky, looking at the leaves, simple things like that. Putting our eyes, which we'll get into as well, on natural things. Really simple things like this can help us. Here's another quote from Shimadaji. After realization, you do become subtle enough to feel that magnetic force of the Mother Earth. And you can ask the Mother Earth to take away your problems, to take away your sins. She'll suck it in. So literally, you're sitting on the ground and the earth is absorbing negativity away from your chakras. Now, here's something else that might be a little bit new. I know we've talked about this briefly, but oil massage. So this is another technique we can use. I heard Anupam mentioning just, we use our hands sometimes, maybe we're out gardening, we might not give our hands the attention that they deserve. So lotion is helpful, but even better is a little bit of natural oil in our hands. Not a lot, but just a little bit of oil to nourish our hands. For our hands, we could use any three of these: almond, coconut, or olive oil. You can put a little bit in before you go to bed at night. Try that, see if that helps your vibrations improve. We can also put oil in our hair or on our scalp and massage that in. Again, not a lot. If we put it on our head, we want to use almond or coconut oil is better than the olive oil. And every one of our chakras, as we know, is also represented on our scalp. So it's very helpful to massage this in. Once a week or so is plenty. You can put it in before you go to sleep on a weekend and then just rinse it out in the morning. Also, our Sahasrara, it helps a lot to put a little bit of, to keep it oiled here. Back in the old days, it was very common for people to put some oil in their hair. We've kind of gotten away from that in these days, but maybe people knew what they were doing back then. Keeping it a little bit moisturized is good, helpful. Also, because your Sahasrara is on top of your head, when you're out and about, again, something that used to be very common 50, 60 years ago, people would wear a hat. So if you're out gardening, you're out for a long time outside, make sure you're covering your head. You don't want a ton of sun beating down on top of your head. It's not good for this chakra. Our climate isn't so cold, but it would also be true to be out, in cold weather. If you do live in an area like that in the wintertime, cover your head, keep it warm. Don't expose it to the elements. You see that all over the world, cultures all over the world. Many still, you see people wearing hats outside. So, just some advice to keeping your Sahasrara from getting too overexposed to the elements. The air element. So at the beginning today, we took a few deep breaths. This is just something that's part of our understanding. If you're feeling stressed, if you're, need to relax, stop what you're doing, take a few deep breaths. So again, something that we sort of already subtly understand, but there's a reason why this works. It's because the heart chakra is made up of the air element. So that's why those deep breaths help us to feel more relaxed, remove any stresses that we're feeling. So that's the best way to use the air element, is to take deep breaths. Also, the air or the ether element, looking at the sky, again, like we mentioned earlier, using the natural elements around us. It's like a spa that's completely free. Everything already exists. So looking at the sky, watching the clouds, being relaxed, being in nature, all of these things can help us. As I mentioned, looking into the sky, that's also good for our fifth chakra. Another thing that helps our chakra, and Shimanoji mentioned that in the clip earlier, that if this is a little bit out of balance, that might be another reason why we're not feeling our vibrations in our hands. So looking at the sky helps. Also, you mentioned oil. You can rub a little bit of oil right here on your Vishuddhi. Or as I think Anupam mentioned, he mentioned clarified butter. So that's ghee or clarified butter, a little bit right here too, just to kind of massage right here, help open up this center, the Vishuddhi massage. This slide is another reminder about how we can balance out our left and right channels. A great thing to do, by the way, when you're sitting on the ground, or you're out in nature, or you're foot soaking, clear out your left and right side. So to do that, as we know, we put our right hand towards the ground for the left side. We keep our left palm open, and we're letting all that negativity go into the earth. As the quote said, the Mother Earth sucks in any negativity on our left side. So we put our right hand towards the ground. And then to clear out the right side, which can become overheated with a lot of mental or physical activity, we put our right hand on our lap and put our left hand towards the sky. We're making a chimney, basically, and letting all of that exhaust. So let's just take a minute here. We can pause for just a minute or two, and I'm just curious, Gunjan, is there any questions that we can answer real quick before we continue on? Anything that you might have seen that anyone has asked any questions? you can read out anything. If not, we can continue on.
I think someone was asking about salt water. To repeat that section.
Salt water, anything specific about salt water, or?
Looks like Deepa asked about repeat salt water. Could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I had just one question. Salt and water we use during the foot soak. Is there any other method that we use with salt and water, or that's the same thing we're talking about?
Yes, great question. So yes, we do use salt water for foot soaking. But as I mentioned earlier, we can take vibrated water and put a little bit of vibrated salt in that water, and we can actually drink that. Just a pinch of salt. And that combination can help us, especially in our nabi and our void. So if you're feeling, your middle finger, which is your nabi, or around here on your hands, which is your void, then you can try this technique. And all these techniques are for you to try and experiment for yourself and see what works for you. Some may work great, some may not work as well, or maybe you'll find that 6 months from now these techniques are working even better than they ever have. So we're all a little bit different, and we can just try these things. But that's another way of using salt and water, is to actually drink a little bit of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I had missed that part. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, should we move on? All right, so many of us in our meditations, we're trying to quiet our minds down. Our minds can go on and on and on. Even when we're sitting in a meditation, our minds might still be thinking and thinking. So what can we do to help slow down our thoughts? There are several things here. We talked about spending time in nature, clearing out our right side, which we talked about too, just that simple technique of clearing out the right channel. Taking a liver diet, which I think we've talked about a little bit before. We'll go into more detail about that, how the foods that we eat can affect our meditation. Also, we can use an ice pack, which will demonstrate. And, listening to meditation music helps all of our channels and chakras. And, just to try not to overanalyze and overthink, to be aware of where our attention is going, where our mind is going, and telling ourselves, okay, stop. So thoughtless awareness. Thoughtless awareness is when our mind becomes quiet. So that's one of the stages in our meditation, in the growth that we experience. At some point, should be experiencing thoughtless awareness. Now, that may just be, again, for just a few seconds, but even just a second of thoughtless awareness is enough to help to improve your overall health and your mind. So again, don't worry about how long it's happening, but just be aware and also desire for it, that you want to get to that point. You want to feel that. All these techniques too will help in your overall meditation and helping you achieve that thoughtless awareness. So again, thoughtless awareness, just a state where there is quietness in your mind. You're not in a trance, but you're at peace and living in the present, like a little kid when you were small. So let's continue on, and we can look. Here's another quote about being thoughtlessly aware by Sri Mataji. Once you are absolutely thoughtlessly aware, you are one with the divine, so much so that the divine takes over every activity, every moment of your life, and looks after you, and you feel completely secure. One with the divine, and enjoy the blessings of the divine. So as we mentioned, these vibrations are all around us. They control the seasons, they grow the flowers, and they also help us. They take over, as Shmanaji said, all of our activities. And we want to be more and more connected with the divine, and thoughtless awareness in our meditation helps take us there. So let's talk about the liver and how important it is that it's healthy in our meditation. So the liver is on our right side, and it is the seat of our attention. And our attention is not mental activity, mental focus, or mental thinking. It's more of just a quiet awareness if that's a way to describe it. One of the best ways I can think to describe like focused attention, or when your attention is totally absorbed into something, is if you're watching a great movie, for example, and you're totally involved in it. You're not thinking about anything. You're part of it. You're part of it. You're not analyzing the actors or the direction or anything. You know, you're absolutely absorbed in it. And that's an example of your attention being completely on something. And a healthy liver is important. Our attention, we want our attention to be on our spirit, to be on our growth, on our ascent. That's where we want our attention to go, to be on the top of our head. So again, our liver plays an important role in that. It is the seat of our attention, the second chakra on the right side. And so some signs if our liver is not healthy would be a restless mind. You know, we could feel, we call it a catch when our fingers are tingling in our right thumb. If this center is out of balance, maybe our liver is not functioning as well as it can, or it's not as healthy as it should be. Maybe our attention goes to things that are not good for us, we find. Maybe we feel sort of listless in life or no joy in our life. And it can also cause pain. People who have a bad liver may lose weight or feel nauseous. So these are some symptoms or some signs of a liver that's not functioning as well as it can. So there's some things that we can do to improve our liver and improve our attention. And a lot of those things are being focused on what we eat. So yes, our diet does play a role in our meditation and the experience of our meditation. So avoiding, again, common sense, fried, fatty, oily foods, over spicy foods, too much coffee. I mean, that just makes common sense. You know, when we're drinking a lot of coffee, then our mind starts going. If you're feeling that, you know, your right thumb and you're experiencing this, so then you can cut out some of these foods out of your diet. Again, just see for yourself if these things help. Now, if this is not something that you're experiencing, of course, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of ice cream, everything in moderation. But this is an example, this is something to help you if you're feeling that your right thumb is bothering you or that your liver is out of balance. So just try eliminating these foods. And things that help are things that cool us down. Cool down your liver, like yogurt, vegetables, chickpeas, and some of the other things we see here. Sugar actually is helpful. White rice, ginger, all of these things can help to soothe down our liver in the summertime especially. We want to eat cooling foods. Again, something to try. Ice pack. This is so helpful. Sometimes I forget about this one, even though at work I've got a little refrigerator behind me with an ice pack in it. So when my mind is going, there's emails coming, racing. It's helped so much to just stop and put an ice pack right on our liver. And I've got an example here. This is like something you would take camping. So this is very easy to keep in a freezer. And this is what I have at work, one of these. Take it out and just place it right on my second chakra, basically between the second and third, right where my liver is. And just, I keep my right hand open, use my left hand to hold it there. And just close my eyes and just relax. Try not to worry about anything, let everything go. 5 minutes or so. This, I promise, this helps a lot. I really recommend that you try this if your mind is going. You can also just very simply put a few ice cubes in a Ziploc bag like this. Keep this handy. Again, 5-10 minutes is all that it takes to soothe down your liver. Your liver, your attention, it affects, obviously it's rising up, it's affecting all the activity in your mind. So it helps to slow everything down, to cool it down. Here's a little bit of a clip here. Shimanoji's talking a little bit about the liver and some of these treatments that we can do.
But all the time a person is thinking. These days everybody thinks too much and very futuristic. As a result, it cannot pay attention to all other things. So what happens? The first thing is affected is the liver. Now liver gets all the heat from the whole body and eliminates it. It's poison from the body, you can say, eliminates it into the blood circulation. It goes into the blood. Now when, you see, liver is not attended to or doesn't get sufficient energy, it starts working very hard. So it becomes overactive liver and this heat cannot be removed. So the heat starts rising upward and downwards. As a result, your what you call the lungs are made of, as you know, they are made like a sponge. So it becomes coagulated and you develop asthma. We cure asthma through liver, curable. Then it descends down. When it descends down, it affects your kidneys. By that you get high blood pressure. Also, the another thing you get is constipation. To keep the body cool in summer, first of all, you have to do is to take some ice and rub it on your liver. Keep the liver cool. Don't think too much. Don't take hot things. Like in the summertime, so many people eat those watermelons and things like that. They should be cooled down properly. Like even mangoes in India must be cooled down and then taken. All such fruit should be cooled down and then eaten. Some people eat the mangoes just from the tree. That's very wrong. You have to cool it down for 24 hours and then eat it. This we knew, all of us. But in modern times, I don't know if people don't know. All these things add up. Then reduce on meats and fish especially. You should not eat fish in the summertime at all. First of all, it is spoiled, something wrong with it, or else it has phosphorus which ignites. So avoid all these things, eat things which are food. Now especially for India is very easy because we have got something called gulkand, which is made out of rose petals, which is a very good thing for cooling the liver. Then cardamom, then the candy sugar, sugar itself, all these things will cool down your liver and you will feel very good. The change in your diet is very important. Now there's another falsehood about thyroid is now broken, that the sugar is against our growth and all that. Sugar is very important for attention, especially people who suffer from liver. For example, people who are thin mostly suffer from liver trouble. For them, sugar is so important that if they don't take sugar, they'll become like the sugar cane which is come out of the machine, pressing machine. See, they better take some sugar. Sugar is very important for your liver. Best carbohydrate is white sugar, not the red sugar. Red sugar is not good because it has got molasses. It's very heaty. Now the attention is sustained by liver. If your liver is not all right, your attention cannot be all right. So those people who have a habit, you see, sometimes they'll see through the back of their eyes, go from here to there. They think they are doing something great by doing these things. Such people can never have good livers. So to keep a good liver, keep your eyes down. Don't give them too much work. We are giving too much work to our eyes, and that's how it is keeping our attention all the time wobbled out. And if your attention is out, then you can never feel happy. So the liver sustains the attention. And for you to be best Sahaja Yogi is to put your eyes down.
So some more advice about how to cool down our liver, ice pack, cooling foods. And Shimanaji mentioned too, where our eyes are going, keeping our eyes on the nature. Speaking of nature, we can also use the natural water around us to foot soak. So a clean, healthy stream or a nice lake. If we get a chance to go down to South Texas, put your feet in the water and raise your energy and put out your hands. Nobody's watching. And just have a natural foot soak. Again, everything around us, all these natural elements, we're made up of those, and they are essential to helping us be our very best. So natural water. So that was a little bit more of a right-sided issues that we might experience. And so now that also we have left-sided issues that might be keeping us from feeling vibrations or from getting the most out of our meditations. Some of these things we've talked about, some of these things might be new. So candling, we might know that our right side, we cool down. Our left side, we use the light. We use the candle or the heat on our left side. Lemons have literally like a mathematical coefficient. And through many, many generations of experimentation and so on, people have discovered that lemons, chilies, limes, coconuts, these things can actually help to absorb our negativity. So we can use those as well to help us. Again, being together, meditating in our weekly classes or when we're all back together again, that helps. We're all together. You can feel the difference in your meditation. That helps to, again, have a deeper experience. And then just get involved in some kind of artistic expression. So helpful, no matter what is going on, to have that in your life, whether you write poetry, buy a new cookbook, plant some flowers, something that you're able to express an artistic side or a creative side. So important to being in a balance, to have that in your life too. So I highly recommend something if you're not already doing that in your life. So let's talk about now candling using the fire element. And we'll actually have a demonstration. Radhika is going to show us how to use the candle on the left side. So I'll turn the time over to her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika.
Yep, thanks, Brad. So for the candling, we need a lighter candle, like something like this. So for that, what we do is basically put our left hand on our lap. I'm just bringing up so that you can see in the camera, but just put on your lap comfortably. And with the candle, what you have to do is just be careful with your hair and just the light, just be extremely careful. So for the candling, you start from your left side, from your second chakra, and you have to move up and down. And while moving up, you have to cross over your Agne chakra, which is the sixth chakra, and also side of your head. Let me show you. Slowly bring it up. And your attention is always on the Sahasrara. So like that. And you can slowly bring it down. So you can do this like 3 times, 7 times, or as many times as you want. I mean, as you feel like, your left side is getting cleared. There is no specific numbering. You can just do comfortably. And the important is you have to put your attention on your Sahasrara chakra. So like that. And while doing candling, you can also clear the specific left chakra. Let's say, let me finish this round and I'll show you. So let's say my left Vishuddhi is catching. So you can just rotate in a clockwise direction. Like there is again no specific number of times, just rotate. So this is one way of candling. Just move up and down on your left side. And of course, holding your candle on with your right side. And if you do this candling with Shri Mataji's picture in front of you, that helps a lot because Shri Mataji's picture emits vibrations. So this is it. And another way of candling is like typically you do your left clearing, right? Putting your left hand and on your lap and right hand towards the Mother Earth. So while doing that, you can just put your candle in front of you. So again, I'm showing a little bit up so that you can see in the camera. Like that, and then you can just basically put your left hand towards the candle and right hand towards the Mother Earth. And if you're sitting on the floor, put your right hand on the Mother Earth. Actually, that's very effective. So you can do that. Just do a bit longer than actually you do your left clearance, a little bit like just a few minutes longer. So this is kind of a quick version. And another is basically if you're really, caught up and then you're really feeling depressed or you're really going into past, or you can see that so much is happening on the left side. For that, what you can do is you can do something called 3 candle treatment. I don't think I can show you effectively, but I'll kind of explain. So for that, you need 3 candles. So 1 candle behind your second Sahasrara chakra. Basically, you have to put on your back side in front of Swadhisthana chakra. I'm sorry if I said Sahasrara. In front of the Swadhisthana chakra, which is second chakra. Again, you have to put 1 candle behind your Swadhisthana chakra, second chakra. You have to be closer, but again at a safe distance. Make sure it's not too close to your body. Another candle is in front of your left hand, like that. 1 candle back and one like another candle in front of your left hand. And with the 3rd candle, you basically have to move up and down as we did in the first treatment. So this is effective. Basically, you have 1 candle back, 1 candle in front of your left hand, and the 3rd candle moving up and down. So here you're using the fire element. And I'm going to quickly show you how to clear your Agne chakra. Here we are using the light element, not the fire element. For that, I have taken this candle. For here, basically, what you do is first you look at the light with your left hand. Doesn't matter left or right, but first you look through the candle with one eye closed, and you do the same thing with another eye closed. And now you look through the candle with the both eyes. First, left, look through the left eye, and then look through the right eye, and then now look through the basically look opening both eyes through the candle. And again, this treatment is effective if you have Shri Mataji's picture in front of you. This is very, very effective. Basically, you look through the candle at Shri Mataji's picture, and if you can look at her bindi or at her dot on her forehead, that is even effective. So you can do this several times as you feel your Agnya is getting cleared. You can do that, and also you can basically move across your forehead here, and then you can go like that too, or you can just rotate in clockwise direction, your left, or you can center, or you can move like that. So this is basically the candle treatment. So back to you, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. Thank you so much. That's very nice. And again, foot soaking. Oh, so yes, really quickly. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling left-sided, we call it, then you want to make your foot soak water a little bit warmer. Opposite, if you're feeling more overthinking, overactive, then you may want to make your foot soaking water a little bit cooler. And again, you use these things based on how you're feeling, how you're and vibrationally how you're feeling. If your left hand is feeling heavy, your left arm is feeling heavy, that's your left side, obviously the right side. So you use these things to help guide you into these different techniques that will work the best for you. So next we have lemons and chilies. So I mentioned that there is a proven medical or mathematical coefficient that through many generations of experimentation, people have discovered that lemons, limes, chilies, coconuts, they all can absorb negativity. And this is Eastern knowledge, or comes from, it's very common knowledge in India that these things can help us. So we can use these in our meditation too, again, to help clear out our chakras. Lemons and limes, they are particularly good for our left side. Again, as we talked about vibrating, we can just keep a little bowl of these lemons or chilies on in front of Shri Mataji's picture on our altar. Just keep them overnight. That helps to vibrate them and increase the power of these different techniques. For our lemon or our lime, and they both work. We can just cut off, you see here, I've just cut off the top where the stem is and expose a little bit of the flesh. So after this has been vibrated, then you can do several things with this. You can put one under your pillow while you're sleeping, put it in your pillowcase, and it helps to absorb any negativity that might be in your agya, especially your back agya. Let's say you're going someplace that maybe talking about vibes, maybe it's not the best place, or vibrations aren't great, or there are negative people or negative experience. You can actually carry one of these with you, put it in your pocket, drop it in a bag, and have this with you. It helps to absorb negativity when you're out and about. You can also use one to kind of help to clear yourself out. So let's say, this is good on the left side again. Let's say my left Vishuddhi is bothering me. You can take a lemon or a lime and just rotate it in front of this chakra. Again, it isn't about how many times, but just kind of putting your attention and just letting that negativity go in. And then we just throw these things away when we're done with them. After you've slept overnight with one of these, just toss it out in the morning. So again, these are great little batteries in a way that help to clear us out. The next slide, I think, talks about another treatment that we can do. Oh, before that, here's a short talk again of Shri Mataji talking about some of these different clearing techniques.
For meditating, you should say that, Mother, make me the Spirit. I am the Spirit. Mother, I am the Spirit. You start seeing through the eyes of the Spirit everything. Then you do not feel bad. You laugh at yourself, make fun of yourself, and then you enjoy yourself, you live with yourself, you play with yourself, you joke with yourself, and the whole thing becomes a joke. But for this, when you meditate, you find out first of all what is the matter with you. But not mentally you resolve it. Through your vibrations and mantras. Mantras are very important for Sahaja yogis. If these mantras could be said loudly, is better in the beginning. That is why in privacy you can do all these things. In your room you can work it out. Now you can use lemons, you can use water, you can use light, you can use ether, akash, you can use sea. All these things you can use to cleanse yourself. Every day you must know which chakra to be cleared up. You must know about yourself, where is the problem, how it is to be cleansed, how we have to clear it out. Do not take it for granted. Many people who have got, say, left-sided problem, you will just bring them lemon and chilies and think that Mother has done the job. I can only do the job temporarily. But if there's a vacuum, again you will suck in. You see, if vacuums within you feel hungry again to have some more. So to take out that vacuum is your job, and for that you have to religiously get after all your defects. That's the most important thing for all of us.
To eat. Is there anything wrong with eating chilies?
No, it suits some people very much. Some people should have, those who suffer from colds will be a good idea. Suffer from constipation is a good idea. But don't eat too much of anything. But it's good for some people. Something is good for some people, something is good for some people. You have to just find out. For people who get constipated, it is better to have little of green chilies all the time. It is very rich in vitamin C. It's very rich in vitamin C. It's good for people who catch colds very easily.
All right, coconuts as well. As we mentioned, coconuts can help to clear negativity. If you get a coconut, you can put it again on an altar. You can put it in your bedroom, and you want to keep the eyes facing upwards. And this can help to absorb negativity. And again, one more technique that we can use that helps us. Now, this is another technique that we can do. So perhaps in our workplace or in our life, we might be around negative people, and we can help to those by the way, you know, that can also affect us. Our environment, our workplaces, people that we're around can affect the health of our center inside. So there's a technique that we can do, a little treatment that we can do that I'm going to show you that involves chilies, mustard seeds, and salt. So let me grab my example here. So what we do is inside of a paper towel, we can just place these 3 items. Let's see if I can show you all here. I have 3 chilies, I have some salt, and I have some mustard seed that I just got at the store. All of these things are easy to find. And I did vibrate these. I put these in front of Shimanoji's picture overnight so that they would have the vibrations. And then you just roll it up like this, and you can very simply take a bandhan. You can just take a bandhan like this, just like we do. You're just going over from the left to the right. It helps to remove negativity, especially if we're around people who, you know, have negative energy. So you just take a bandhan 7 times, just like we would normally do. Another way to use this, let's say you're feeling a specific catch or tingling on a finger. Let's say left Vishuddhi again, like we did with the candle. You can just move it around in front of that chakra. If you're feeling your left side, you can take your left side. So again, it's sort of guided by how you're feeling. But if you're, again, around in a negative environment, this is taking a bandhan with this treatment can really help to remove the negativity. Now, when you're finished with this, you just burn it. Burn it, take it outside on a little plate or a little, I use a little tiny flower pot. I just put it in there and burn it, and it burns off the negativity. So again, this is a really helpful treatment. I do recommend this one too. Something that you can try if you're experiencing those things. Again, we just try and see what works for you. And then again, meditation music. So if you go to YouTube, our channel on YouTube, we have a playlist there of some meditation music if you're wondering where to find meditation music. And we'll keep adding to that as well. But music carries vibrations. Maybe some of you were able to join our music and meditation session last Saturday, which was incredible, as a raga was sung for each one of the chakras. It was really a beautiful experience. So, you know, again, Indian classical music is ancient and very deep, and it can affect and improve us on a very subtle level. Every note, every instrument, how it's played, it's very specific and very deep and meaningful. So I would find these things played by Sahaja yogis. Find these played by Sahaja yogis. So that's why this playlist is helpful on our DFW meditation live. Just search for that on YouTube and you'll find it. You can find our playlist there. day-to-day tips. So again, find a routine that helps. You know, the same time every day if you can. Ajit, our good friend Ajit, has always given great advice. Just set his clock 15 minutes early, so he gets up and gives himself that little extra time in the morning. He kind of tricks himself. Again, keeping everything together in a place that's convenient for you. Little techniques like your foot soak and so on. That really helps. So you're not, you know, scattered when you try to find time to meditate. And setting up a little place in your home like this, a little altar with a photograph of Shri Mataji, a candle. It's very simple, maybe some flowers, some incense is here, and then there's a bowl of limes, again, that you can vibrate and then use them in different ways and throughout the day to help clear you out. So you want something that's very simple, natural materials, it's clean, not too cluttered, and this really does help, again, establish vibrations in your home. And go to the same place every time to meditate. That's part of a routine as well. So highly recommended that that you set up a little something like this. Settling vibrations in our home. Also using natural products in our lives. Something that we may not think about, but it's important to use natural fabrics like cotton, avoiding too much plastic in our lives, natural soaps, natural oils. You know, again, we're very sensitive. And so these things, just kind of watching what we consume and trying to stick to natural things will help us in our stay more balanced and help us in our meditation. Our eyes, again, watching our eyes. Shri Mataji mentioned in that last talk about, again, yogis are keeping their eyes on positive things. So we can look into the sky, we can look at the nature, we can look at the ground. Radhika demonstrated clearing our Agne with the candle and being in nature. So, and not looking at things that are not positive for us, keeping our eyes on good things, good things. Again, beautiful slide, natural things are more congenial to our vibrational growth. So that is an overview of some techniques that we can use to help us to clear out our chakras, to help us to become more balanced so that our meditations become deeper. That's really what we want to experience, and that our vibrations begin to flow better so that they can help to guide us in our lives. Some of those things I hope were new to you. Maybe some of them were nice fresh refreshers and reminders of things that we can do. Number one thing is really just to, as Shri Mataji said in the talk, to feel peaceful, to feel relaxed, to feel an improvement in your life. Focus on that. Don't worry, don't stress, but try these things and let your life and your vibrations help guide you in what little techniques that you can try to help. So thank you. That was a lot of information, but I hope it was helpful. Now I want to turn the time over to Anupam, who's going to lead us through a meditation before we end our workshop today.